Never underestimate the power of your grill plus ingredients to transport you anywhere on earth. Today, I want to take you to Thailand.
There we go.
Yay! We got some beef short ribs from North Carolina with Nickel Farms, but we're going to use some fun Thai ingredients, and we're going to do a hot smoke sear braised short rib, lemongrass, coconut milk. Let's get in the action. Grill stabilized at 325 to 350 degrees. It's getting there right now. We're semi-indirect. I've got a pan in there warming up. Check out these beauties. So yeah, and I love the fact that they're cut up into smaller pieces. Oftentimes when I do short ribs, it's the 3-bone plate. This just seems more manageable, doesn't it? It's got that kind of Tuesday, Wednesday feel to it rather than the big Friday, Saturday 3-plate. So I love the approachability, if that's a word, to these little short ribs. And like I said, I've got a pan heating up right now in the grill, coming to temperature, and I just want to get some salt on these babies. And then today we've chosen some kunami. It's got some Asian flavors to it. It's got some fun turbinado sugar to help out with that caramelization, and some seaweed in here. So there's just some really fun seasoning elements. And oh my gosh, don't forget the sides. What an opportunity I almost missed there.
It looks kind of like bacon.
Yeah, it does. It's layered, you know, and it's short ribs, or where you'd imagine they would be. There's that big plate there, but we've got lots of intermuscular fat that we need to access, and that liquid in the pan, the low and slow, is going to allow all of those layers of collagen to break down and turn into gelatin, giving us this just rich, luxurious braising liquid and finishing product. All right, nice and seasoned up. I get a lot of questions online. Should I season hours beforehand or the night? If you do it the night beforehand, it's considered dry basting. I just go right before we're gonna get in the pan. Let's take a look at the grill setup today. And I'm loving this kind of semi-indirect feel. You can see I've got a nice charcoal bed here. I'm sitting indirect. I've got the pan at the highest setting of the divide and conquer system, and I'm gonna nestle in a wood chunk to start this thing off, so that as we're searing, we're locking in some of this hickory flavor into the actual sear of the beef. We've had a tremendous amount of success with the hot smoke sear. All right, first thing, we get that hickory to combustion state, so we have good, clean smoke, a little oil in the pan, put our short ribs in there so they're searing, close that dome so the smoke is getting locked into the sear.
Smoke sear.
Yeah, the smoke sear.
Smoke sear.
And you're gonna give it about 3 minutes, and then take a look and make sure it's not over caramelizing, then flip and get the other sides. We want nice caramelization before we take these out of the pan and move on to the next spot. If the pan's not quite hot enough, another benefit of that half moon accessory being in, just go ahead and throw in the other grill grate and slide the cast iron pan directly over that heat. If we really want to tap into the power of the divide and conquer system and get big, bold sear on that meat, we can drop that secondary grill grate all the way to the lowest level of the divide and conquer system and get that big, bold sear closest to the heat. While our short ribs are smoke searing at that lower level, and I can hear what's going on. So while I'm working these vegetables, I'm listening to the rate of sear. I want to kind of put some rough chops on some fun vegetables, the next step in this process. So we've got a yellow or white onion here, and I'm just going to kind of put a rough chop on this. I want you to think about the region at which this recipe originated from, and there's no, you know, crazy French style knife cuts, right? It's pretty rough chop. When we're thinking about the ginger, we're gonna leave the skin on and eat like a local. No worries. Yeah, no worries there. Or if you're really into it, you can use a spoon as a nice trick to get through the nooks and crannies. And then we'll just smash some of these garlic cloves and we're gonna throw them in there. So we'll sear off our short ribs, we'll pull them out, we'll get these chopped up vegetables going. They'll pick up some of that fond on the bottom of the pan that the short ribs left in there, which is great because it'll pick up big, bold flavors, and then we'll start layering in our other flavors as well. So 2 more vegetables to go in this secondary process after the sear. The first is lemongrass, and this stuff's so cool. Yeah, we're down here in Tampa, so neighbor brought these over. Kind of cool. Thanks, Chris. Shout out. Let's get rid of these frawny parts, and this is relatively thin. So when you see it in the grocery store, it's a little thicker. You know, we want.
That's wild lemongrass.
It's wild lemongrass, and when you do this and you put your nose to it, it almost smells like Fruit Loops. So I'm just gonna put a little twist there.
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah.
Don't embarrass me in front of my friends, lemongrass.
Big
Jeez.
twist.
Okay. Yeah, big twist. And now we've got the stalks. We're going to discard the foliage portion. And then we use the back of the knife to bruise this up. Notice how when we do that, we're just exposing some of that fibrous stuff and allowing the braised to get in there. Maybe we cut them into kind of larger pieces, but we don't want to accidentally chew on this, so you don't want to cut it into too small pieces. So that's us. And then I've got this long pepper that I'm really excited about. And again, just a little rough chop there. And I'll be completely honest with you, I would have loved to use Thai bird chilies or something like that, but they just didn't have them in the grocery store. So go with that medium heat chili, and I thought maybe this would be a good opportunity. I had also a habanero, but I didn't want to do the habanero. I went with this long guy. Now I can hear that sear is sounding great, and I know that's a weird thing to say, but let's take a look and see where we're at. Oh yeah. Bone is exposed. Things are happening.
Oh, it smells phenomenal already.
Look at that. It's like a fat geyser coming out right there. Beautiful. And if I wanted to, I could start pushing these things to the side. I've got a little real estate in here. If we wanted to go ahead and start some of our vegetables, we can do that. It's a little crowded, but I'm into it. Once you've like caramelization all around on those short ribs, go ahead.
Stunning, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Holy cow.
look at that sizzle, look at that sear, and think about how much beefy flavor is left over in that pan that those rough chopped vegetables are just gonna drink up. So I wanna take those short ribs out, put them on the indirect side, and continue to grill saute, if you will.
Nice.
Yeah.
Smoke sear.
Smoke sear, grill saute. We're making up some stuff. Yeah, if you're playing and you're having fun, you're unstoppable. So let's keep a good thing going here. And notice how it's just drinking up. All those vegetables are drinking up that color. Now I want to start getting some liquid in there and deglazing. So I've got some nice limes, and I'm just going to go ahead and chop them in half. And we've got a juicer ready to roll. And
I don't know if I've ever had short ribs with lime before.
Oh, it's a magical thing. And then we're gonna also, I mean, I can't help myself, we gotta talk about it. We're gonna pop in some brown sugar, we're gonna pop in some turmeric. Don't be scared of the Thai fish sauce. We're gonna pop in some fish sauce, and then to smooth it all out, some of that beautiful coconut milk. So all these liquids go in there, those seasonings go in there, then we return the short ribs, and then put it all on top on that indirect, close the dome. Magic is happening.
Good Lord.
Every single element to this recipe adds another layer. That's why we don't throw everything in one fell swoop, right? We're building and building and building. So notice that when we have those great rough chopped vegetables, all of a sudden the acid from the limes go in there and brighten everything up.
Oh, yeah.
But as they're going in, yeah, and look at those bubbles. Look at that syrupy goodness that's happening right there. The residual sugars, the sour. That's a big part of this culture's cuisine. Okay, and then think about the brown sugars that goes in there and just really gives it body and
There's a lot going on already.
The aromas are through the roof right now. And then we're gonna put in some of that coconut milk and watch that color just kind of swirl in and bloom. Like magic is happening. You are unstoppable with this recipe, I'm telling you. And you don't have to do it as fast as we're doing it. You want to make it a little slower, bring it back up one level, easy peasy. But let's go ahead and get all these flavors in there.
I'm nervous about the fish sauce. I mean, I get it.
Fish sauce is going to be balanced, and it's not going to be prevalent, right? There's so many other big, bold flavors going. That lemongrass is just speaking to us left and right. The brown sugar sweetening things up, the sour there. All the fish sauce is going to do is just really tie things in and amplify everything and bring the umami or that big, bold, savory note from the short ribs forward, okay? It is absolutely stunning. And we'll finish in the end with a little bit of lime zest to continue to brighten it. But let's go ahead and nestle in those short ribs right into this gorgeous liquid. Move it back over indirect, put the lid on, close the dome, shut it down a little bit so we're stabilized at that 325 to 350. Magic is happening again. You are unstoppable. Great job, team. It's been 2 hours. Let's open the dome, go ahead and take that lid off, and look at that. I mean, just stunning. And you know, there's a lot of fat in those short ribs. It's all rendered out. That's okay. We're just going to use our ladle and kind of depoulage, degraisser, if you will. The French say degraisser. It just means degrease, right? So just kind of tipping the edge of that ladle, moving it around and getting rid of the fat which has risen to the top is a very important part of this process so that it's not continually greasy. Thus degraisser, to degrease. And then we're left with that incredibly flavorful liquid. Don't forget the bones in those short ribs have been rendering out marrow and beefy flavor as well.
So rich.
This is so rich. You can imagine just serving this. I'm thinking about pouring it over white rice. Of course, we've got time to do it, but I just want to bite into that short rib. But let's put the top on here and let it go for another 20 minutes or so without that grease on top, just to instill some of those flavors. Maybe we even baste a little bit of this goodness right on top. All right, top back on, dome down. See you in 20 minutes. Neighborhood's asking about it. Yeah, let's take a look. Oh, let's do the whole reveal deal.
Oh, come on.
That's us. That's us. All right, you're coming with me. Oh yeah. Look at those little morsels, and again, that bone just rendered out all that deliciousness. The bones just kind of fall out on their own. You know, that's part of it, I reckon. And it just wants to. I mean, I'm barely moving this, and it's just coming apart. Come on. The power of the braise and the smoke sear. You know, I mean, simple things done perfectly win every time. Those of you who are familiar with the channel are probably sick of me saying that, but I hope it's setting in, okay? And there's a multitude of ways that we could serve this up. We could serve it over rice and then pour some of this gorgeous liquid or cuisson over. I mean, look how pretty that is. That is something special. I can't describe to you how wonderful and just like soul rejuvenating that is. The lemongrass, the lime. You don't pick up any of the fish sauce. Again, it's just there to pronounce and more enunciate all these other flavors. Don't be afraid to play around with different flavor profiles that you're not used to. Okay, that coconut milk sings my song. Folks, if you enjoyed this cook as much as we enjoyed cooking it for you, don't forget to do all the things. Subscribe, like, share it. Do leave us a comment. We love reading and responding to those. And as always, from our backyard to yours, cheers and happy grilling.